All right. Hello, hello. Good morning, everybody. Nice to see all of you on our day 5 call. Hopefully, everybody had a good night's rest. And we're happy to have all of you back because today is all about the very thing I just mentioned. It's all about being able to recover those beautiful, those sexy, those toned muscles that you're now learning to develop, that you're now learning to build. And we all know that if they're not recovering, they're not growing. And that's a big key aspect of what makes competitors look so good on stage. It gets them so lean, so amazing. But the process sometimes is not always so obvious, which is why we've got the amazing Helen Fong here to share with you in detail how this wonderful lady manages to put together all her muscles, make them look fabulous and toned and ready for the next workout session, feeling energized, feeling ready, feeling prepped. Not just so she can do it, that was 2019, but now it's so you can do it for yourself as well. So again, before I pass over to the call to Helen, we just want to say thank you. We want to say welcome, good morning. We're so glad to have all of you here. It's always a pleasure to do these calls with you. And I'm super excited because Helen's going to share with you something that she's very dedicated at doing, which is what makes her a machine in the gym. And now we all get to be machines. We all get to have total control over the way we look and feel. So, Helen, please come on over, take it away, share with the ladies all your amazing knowledge. Uh-oh. 1 second. Oh. There we go. You're on mute. Now you're not on mute. Go ahead.
Good morning, ladies. Well, this is Vancouver time, and it's beautiful here in Vancouver and wherever you are in the world. Happy Friday. Well, thank you, Ellen. Well, today I'm going to share you one tip that you women, ladies, all enjoy, which I overlooked in the past. I didn't think it was useful, but something that helped my recover, help me build my muscle, and something you don't have to spend money, something you like to do every day, but never have enough of it. And this step that I use eventually, I missed it in the beginning because I remember sitting in the gym, and when I had my muscle and fat measured, Ellen was disappointed at the beginning. And I mean, I was eating right, I was hitting the gym, I have my supplement, but there's something missing. He said, how come your body fat and muscle hasn't changed that much? Then he asked me one thing. How many hours of sleep do you normally have? I said, usual, as a mom, we have to take care of our family, and I'm also a hockey mom for the last 10 years, sometimes often drive my son to hockey at 10 p.m. at night. So sleeping wasn't a big deal. As long as I get enough, 5 hours, 4 hours, I was fine for the last 50 years. And I didn't think it was that important until he realized your muscle is not growing as fast and fat is not reducing as much. Then was put on, go sleep at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. It was hard at the beginning because going to sleep at 9 o'clock, we never thought of as a mom who asked yourself, do you ever go to sleep at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock? So it was difficult. Then I managed to force myself. I mean, there was noise in my house with kids running, children, the friends come over. It's very difficult. But I knew I had to do it. So how to put in the sleep that I needed was I used to use what do you call the earpiece? The earpiece, and close on my door, earplugs, right? And because I knew I have to, because my show was coming, and I needed my muscles to grow a little bit more than I want, and to our desired goal before I step on stage. So I managed to put on at least 7 to 8 hours sleep compared to the 5 hours sleep, which most women, I know ladies, you guys ladies are busy, so it's tough. But once I put on the sleep, minimum 7 hours, I began to feel better. My muscles started to grow even more, and then my body fat reduced, a little bit more. So many of you ladies, perhaps think of the one step that you didn't think it would be helpful in transforming your body, growing muscle, repairing your muscles, and also reduce body fat.
Right. Right.
So that's what I noticed. One simple step that that you might have overlooked, and I have overlooked because we have this belief that, oh no, it's okay.
I think it's really common when we first start off our transformations. I mean, even for myself, I didn't know the value of sleep until I had to go and compete myself and recognize that when I'd wake up in the morning, if I woke up in the morning and I had a good night's rest, I'd notice that my energy was just different. I noticed my performance was different. It was better. It was improved. And on nights I did not get great sleep, I noticed that I felt weaker, more tired, and the same went with Helen. And maybe the same has gone with you. I mean, let me ask you real quick, how many of you ladies on this call have gone through just not even just for training, but just in day-to-day life where you've gone to bed at night and you woke up and the next morning you're exhausted, you're tired, you're not feeling your best. And the rest of the day becomes a bit of a drag. You have to maybe drink your coffee or your tea or just use something to pick yourself up. And anything extra like a workout routine just seemed to be so difficult to get through. And how many of you have felt the same way, counter opposite, where you did get great sleep and then you woke up the next day and you could tackle the day. Not only could you tackle the day, but consistently getting good sleep, you might have noticed that your body just starts to look a little different. It looks stronger. It looks leaner. You start to notice the small improvements happening more rapidly, maybe in your glutes, maybe in your stomach, maybe in your thighs, maybe in your arms. That's really important to recognize because, as the old saying goes, when it comes to transformation, 30%, only 30% on average of our transformation actually happens in the gym. And that's because in a 24-hour day, when we're alive for 24 hours, our bodies are made up of what we do for all of those 24 hours, not just what we do in the gym. It's one of the reasons why, for example, we could see, and I'm sure you've seen this too, like how many times have you gone to a gym or to a fitness center and you've seen some people in their training and maybe a few weeks and a couple of months go by and you're noticing that they're complaining or they're not looking like they're improving, but they're working out really, really hard. I mean, have you ever known somebody like that before? Well, a lot of times is because what they're doing outside the gym is not supporting their body's ability to transform and grow. And sleep is one of the major key factors that either make us or break us. But it's not just how much sleep we get. It's more about the quality of sleep and the pre-preparation for sleep, which might sound big, and it's really not. It just takes a couple of minutes to do before we go to bed at night. But as athletes, as people that need to perform, no matter what the athletic activity is, you'll find that most athletes don't just go to bed at night. Excuse me. They don't just go to bed at night, but instead they follow a particular regimen that allows them to get the maximum amount of recovery during sleep. So when they wake up, they're ready to tackle the next session, the next day, with a ton of energy and a lot of nice looking muscles to go and tackle whatever that job is. Now, what Helen's referring to in terms of how to get quality sleep, let me take a step back real quick. The major indicator that you want to use that works for us, and of course, it's different for everybody. So we want to just give you what's worked for us. So maybe this will help for you too. We believe it will. That the indicator that you want to use, whether you sleep 5 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, the time doesn't matter so much. What matters is how you wake up. So if you wake up in the morning, no matter how much sleep you got, and you wake up refreshed, and the moment your eyes open, you sit up, and you feel like you want to start your day. That is a huge indication that you got quality sleep, what's called REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. I'll explain what that is in a second. But if you wake up in the morning and you feel groggy and you feel tired, even if you slept 8 hours or 9 hours, and you're feeling like, God, if I can just get 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes, and then you hit the snooze button, and then you hit it again, and then you finally drag yourself out. That is an indication, in most cases, that it's not so much the hours of sleep, although that is a factor too. What's a major factor is your body's ability to use, going back to yesterday's talk, certain nutrients that it needs to improve its ability to sleep better at night. Okay, so what we're really talking about today is, number one, we're talking about sleep. But number two, we're talking about how to get quality sleep, whether it's in 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours. And I say that as a generalization because when we were growing up, we've always heard that 8 hours is ideally what you need, right? You've probably heard that too. Yet, there's women here in this call. Helen is an example. She's an example of one of those people. Melissa has talked about it a few times as well, where they're averaging 5 to 6 hours a night. If they're lucky, they get 7. But when done properly, they can just get up and go, and they've got energy. And if you look at Helen's body, for example, and you look at her stage performance, like you look at some of the stage photos, her competition photos, she built that body on an average of 6 to 7 hours of sleep per night. Sometimes with the occasional nap, and sometimes exceeding 7 hours a night. But the average was 6 hours to 7 hours of sleep. Well, if that's the case, then the question remains, how does a person transform their body to lower body fat, increase lean muscle mass on less than the recommended hours of sleep per night? And the way to do that is to use what we found, what works for us, what we believe can work for you as well, is to use certain nutrients that the body requires. Again, usually from food, but we don't want to eat before bed. It's a little counterintuitive. So we actually, instead of eating regular food, we want to take the nutrition that's specifically best for increasing and improving the sleep quality and ingesting that 20 to 30 minutes before we go to bed at night. So when we wake up in the morning, our bodies get that high level of quality sleep, which is called REM sleep. So before I tell you what the nutrients are, let me just tell you real quick what REM sleep is. REM sleep is short for rapid eye movement. Okay, rapid eye movement sleep. What that means is that let's just take the common 8-hour time block. In 8 hours of sleep, the average human needs about 2, 3, or 4 hours of sleep before their body goes to another level of deep rest called rapid eye movement. And only in the rapid eye movement segment of the sleep is the body able to rejuvenate the cells, rejuvenate muscle fibers, rejuvenate everything that it needs to be replenished to get ready to tackle the next day. The problem for most of us is that when we're sleeping 5 or 6 hours a night, most of our bodies don't have enough time to get to REM sleep and to spend a few hours in the REM sleep zone. So for example, let's say you're sleeping 5 hours. I know that's super common. Even to this day, I average about 5 hours of sleep a night, sometimes 6. Like I could definitely use more, but I'm still able to wake up after 5 hours of sleep and just go and take apart the day. Like 5 hours is great for me. But the reason is because when someone isn't able to get into REM sleep fast, their body will get to, let's say, 4 hours of sleep to get to REM sleep. But once they hit REM sleep, only in REM sleep are we recovering. So if you're sleeping 5 hours, but it took you 4 to get there, it means that the body only had 1 hour of REM sleep time to produce recovery. Well, the supplements that we use, what it helps us do is it helps minimize the get to time for REM sleep. So let's say let's say it takes 4 hours to get to REM sleep and then you want 4 hours of actual REM, right? So 4 hours to get there and then another 4 of the actual REM sleep zone. Certain supplements can allow us to cut this down by half, or sometimes even within an hour. Or once you take in the supplements and then you go to bed at night, if your body only takes 1 or 2 hours to get to REM sleep, that means if you're only sleeping, let's say 6 hours, that means 2 hours to get to REM sleep zone and then another 4 hours in the actual REM sleep. When you wake up on 6 hours, you'll feel like you slept 9. You'll feel like you slept 10. Like you'll just feel amazingly energized. And we find that that's the most common thing these days, especially because most people, they're usually, not always, but we find most people are usually either dehydrated, or they lack certain nutrition, right? A lot of today's common day problems, physical problems as we age, actually come from a lack of nutrition in several different areas. So if we can combat that by using natural supplements, then what you'll find is not only do you feel better when you wake up, but you also notice that your muscles just tighten so much faster. You notice that your energy just rises so much easier. You just notice that your ability to tackle your 9-to-5 job or run your business and then go and work out just becomes so much simpler, because the energy that you need to output all of those daily tasks, it's available to you. And you feel like you're running on a full tank of gas, per se, high premium quality gas, versus being this, imagine your body's like a Lamborghini, but your gas tank is on low and it's not even the premium grade, it's the regular grade. How would your engine run if that's all you had in your system? And unfortunately, that's how it is for a lot of people in these days, because this kind of information, like, it's everywhere, but we find that it's so all over the internet that it's almost hard to figure out, okay, well, what's best for me, right? Like at the end of the day, you know just as well as I do that if you wanted to just jump on Google, if you said, oh, forget Helen and Alan, I'll just go on Google and look it up myself. I mean, how many times have you tried looking up on Google an answer and then you get this whole slur of answers that totally say different things about each other, and which leaves you feeling like, okay, well, what do I do now? But instead, what you're doing is you're utilizing the actual results from myself, from Helen, from all the other people who we've helped, so you can better narrow down what's going to work best for you. And so for today, what we really want to ask you to do is focus not on how many hours of sleep are you getting, unless you're sleeping like 3 hours a night, obviously. 4 hours, it's a little bit tight. Like 5, 6, 7 hours, that's usually the more common and effective time zone, sleep zone. So how many hours are you getting? Sure. Number 2, what kind of quality sleep are you getting? Number 3, how are you noticing if it's quality? And you're basing that on how you feel when you wake up. I mean, Helen, real quick, before I tell them what it is, do me a favor, take a few minutes. Tell them how you felt about your workouts and your energy in 2018 versus 2019 when you started using supplements for sleeping.
Like you said, Ellen, earlier, the days I didn't take the supplement, you wake up, you don't want it to wake up. You drag yourself out of the bed. And then the days that you take this, the night before you take the supplement, you wake up like you're ready to go. Right? You're ready to go. It's a huge difference. Even now during the COVID, there are days that I experienced a difference too, because the motivation is less because everything is not there, right? Right. Huge difference. There are times you just wake up, everything, you feel so fresh. The day that I take the supplement, the days I don't, it's like, oh, I hope it's going to rain all day so you can sleep all night.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what we want to have for you, ladies. We want to know that as you're working out and as you're starting to move your bodies in different ways, whether you're just starting your workout regimen or you're actually into a training session and you're pushing yourself to another level, we want to know that not only do you have the energy to go and tackle that new experience in your life, to build your new body, we also want to know that you're able to recover from each session as efficiently and effectively as possible, so you're not left feeling overly sore, overly tired, which is going to happen. Like, I've seen it so many times where a lot of our athletes will start off they'll think to themselves, yeah, I can do this, I can do this. And they can. First day, second day, third day. But by the fourth day, fifth day, sometimes they walk in looking like they haven't slept in a week. And I'm trying to figure out what the hell happened to you. And it wasn't that they didn't sleep, they did. But the quality of the recovery just kept going down, not because of anything more than the fact that their bodies did not have sufficient nutrition. Now notice that everything that we're talking about here for these past 4, now 5 days, really boils down to how you load your body with the right kind of nutrition and the right kind of recovery. Some of you might be asking, well, how come there's so much emphasis on this? Like, show me the butt routine, show me the ab routine, show me what you do in the gym. Like, I want to see the workout. And we want to give that to you. We do. And we're going to start pouring that on as the days go by. Even after this challenge is over, Helen, we've already discussed that we're going to record some of her trainings done these days. And we're going to give that to you just as a bonus. The workouts, they're not hard to find. You could go on Google, like Helen knows this, you know this, I know this. You go on YouTube, you can go there's an endless supply of how to do things in the gym. Mm-hmm. The challenge is that the videos almost never talk about what did they do before the gym to have that kind of output. Like some of these half an hour, 45-minute routines, they look simple because the athletes make it look simple. But when you do it, it's like, oh my God, this is a lot harder than I thought it'd be. And what they also don't talk about is what do they do to immediately start the recovery? And that's the big disconnect I find on the internet, which is not necessarily, it's not bad. It's not like they're trying to do it. I believe that they're just trying to give people what they want. And what people want is they want to see the ab workout. They want to see the butt workout. We all do. The problem remains when they don't see what happens before and after. People try to copy these athletes and then they feel discouraged because they're like, well, why can't I keep up? Why is my butt cramping when I do the third set of this butt exercise? Like, why do I feel like a 5-ton truck just hit me and I only did a 45-minute training session for the past couple of days? Like, these people don't look that sore. Why am I so sore? And then that disbelief starts to kick in of, well, maybe I can't do it, right? We don't want that for you. We don't want that for you. When we said that we're pulling back everything, we are, because what we're trying to do is give you the kind of information that is not so easy to find on the internet. We're giving you the stuff that you usually hear about in the meetups. Like when Helen goes to the competitions, there's always a pre-meetup, there's a pre-meeting, they give them the walkthrough. Then after the ladies get together, they chat, they get to know each other. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times they're very generous to share their tips on what kind of protein, what kind of supplements, what kind of workout, what kind of everything. Mm-hmm. And it's usually only in those circles that you find out, well, what are they using that's safe, that's healthy for them, that's relatively inexpensive? Like, where do you go and shop for these things? It's very inner circle type stuff. And that's why we want to make sure that before these 7 days are over, you are fully aware of how to properly warm up your body, how to properly pre-fuel your body, how to recover after the workout, and how to recover before you go to bed, which is why we're here today. Because I don't know about you guys, but for me, I never heard those kind of pieces of advice until I got into the fitness circles. But with COVID-19, with all this stuff that's going on, it's not so easy to get into those circles anymore because everybody's staying home or they're staying 6 feet away from each other. You know, like before this call, Helen and me were just talking about how this year she feels so bad for the athletes that are coming up. Because now if they have to compete, they got to turn on a webcam, they got to do it in their living room. It's like all of those interpersonal, like behind the scenes kind of like we're building our clique groups and sharing that kind of inside knowledge. It's all gone. They don't have as much of that opportunity anymore to share. And that's what really makes, like when you see a woman, like Helen was kind enough to put her poster up behind just as a reminder, like that, you know, like that was such a great year for her. And that's what we want for all of you. And she was saying that it's so sad to know that COVID has kind of knocked that out for a lot of people because Now, a lot of these athletes have to figure it out for themselves, or they have to go the extra mile to go and contact someone who can share this kind of advice with them. Like, it sucks. But you don't. You don't have to go that mile. You're like, everything you want to know is right here. You just got to ask, or you just got to be on this call to hear it, which is exciting, right? Like, you're not limited by the distance or the requirement of a COVID-19 7 feet apart regulation. And that's why we're talking about recovery for sleep tonight, because in order for you to transform quickly, your body has to produce that muscle while your eyes are shut. So let's dig into the actual regimen that you use to make your muscles recover 3 times as fast, to kick up your energy twice as much, to push your workouts every single month to do just a little bit more and a little bit more. Like, I actually found some of the videos of Helen when she got so tired of using the big 45-pound plates. I'm not exaggerating, okay? I had to jump on some of the machines just so she could push me with the plates, because the plates alone was getting too tedious to load and load and load. And it was just easier for me to load on a couple of plates, and then I would jump on the machine. She would leg press me, and then I would jump off so we could repeat the drop set within a few minutes instead of taking so many minutes to take a plate off. Like, it is amazing to see how fast the body can increase in performance, in strength, in speed, in lean muscle mass when it's designed to burn its body fat and increase its muscle mass, lean muscle volume on a 24-hour scale versus what most people think, which is, I'm just going to go and train at the gym, and during that 45 minutes or hour, that's when I'm going to make my muscle. Like, that's one mentality, which is fine. It works. But if you want to have a rapid transformation, it's got to become the 24-hour mentality, where everything you're doing is either helping you raise your lean muscle or raise your body fat. And as me and Helen have always said in the past, there's no in between. Whether we're conscious of it or not, the body is always doing just one or the other. And the more that we're conscious about raising the lean muscle mass, the more that the body fat naturally starts to reduce itself, showing off that sexy younger image that everybody's here to accomplish, right?
Yes, we give you all ladies all the missing ingredients. I'm sure you ladies all cook to have a perfect dish. You need everything in there, right?
Absolutely. And today's deep dive dish on sleep recovery is as follows. Let's dig right into this. So, what do you use before you go to bed? Based on Helen's experience, okay, so you might want to adjust this for yourself or try it for yourself. And anything that you try, we always recommend, always try it. Anything you want to try that's new, give it a 30-day shot, because sometimes the body needs a few days to adjust to doing something new in order for you to really notice the benefits. Thankfully, when it comes to sleep, it's much less than that. You'll feel a difference almost right away. But in terms of the way your body looks and feels, always try anything new for a minimum of 30 days. That's just our recommendation, right? So,
let me add something. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
But what happened, I didn't believe sleep was a big factor in repairing and building muscle. Was in the past, I always thought that sleep will make me fat, like pigs.
Sleep will make you fat like pigs. Wait a minute. I don't remember having this discussion before. Let me say that one more time. Sleep. You used to believe that sleep would make you fat.
Yeah.
Like pig. Really?
Yes. My mom used to tell me all the time.
I'm a little mind blown right now, people.
Yeah, I know. I understand. So, sleeping is for people who don't do anything, right? So
okay. So you're talking about like you're sleeping like 12 hours a day or something. You mean like that, right? Like, you don't mean like on an 8-hour time block, do you? I mean, if you do, it's fine. I'm not here to judge. I'm just very surprised.
It's just a myth.
We've had many discussions before, but I don't remember this one.
That's why I didn't believe you in the first place. So my own limited belief prevent me from moving forward. So I have to learn my mistakes and then shorten my time, right? So
that's amazing. Amazing. Wow. Well, thank you for that share. I'm not going to forget this call. Holy cow. Well, you know what's really interesting, folks, is as funny as that sounds, thank you for sharing that, Helen. That means a lot. How many times have we been in that place where we believe that something would be true, only to discover that not only was it not necessarily true, but it ended up holding us back from gaining something that we really deserve to have. Now, whether that be your fitness or this the way that you look or the way you feel, or it applies to anything in life. Part of these calls is to help break certain stigmas or disbeliefs that we think to be true until we actually go and test it and then discover that, hey, you know what? This isn't really true. And now it's cool because now we have options, right? Like this is all about options. Try something new or just stay with what works or didn't work in the past. Like at least now it's a choice. Versus before calls like this, people generally, even me 10 years ago, used to think, well, this is my limitation and this is as good as it's ever going to get for me. At the end of these 7 days, we want that limitation off for you. So you can go out and discover what works best for you. So you can try new things and feel confident about knowing that if it works, great. But if it doesn't, you can always try something else, right? Discovery is so amazing as part of the transformation process. We're just minimizing the guesswork so you can get from A to B much faster than if you went on Google and then went to this coach and then that coach and then this coach. And then like for me, but I didn't have this growing up. Like in this field, I had me and one coach and he was an ex-Army guy. And every time he told me to do something, I was baffled. I was like, are you kidding? Because everything had to be hard. But he was an ex-European military. He served in 2 different armies. And so everything with him was just like hard. It's got to be hard. It's got to be like tough. But that doesn't always apply, right? So now after working with him, I realized I need more options. And that's how things like this came to be, because with him, it took me 3 years to find one answer. 3 years. Can you imagine that? It's like I had this problem before where I didn't warm up properly and I ripped something in my abdominal muscle and I was having major pains for 2-3 weeks. And I said to him, I said, Coach, I have these weird muscle pains and I don't know how to fix it. Can you tell me how to fix it? And no exaggeration, he looks at me and he's got this thick European accent. He's like, Mr. Allen, you have this pain. Now you have the pain. I was like, yeah, I got the pain. I got the pain, boss. What do I do? He goes, okay, you do this. You do 300 sit-ups a day, every day. And then after 1 month, you're okay. And then he walks off. He takes off. The guy takes off. I'm sitting there looking at him going, did you just tell me to do 300 sit-ups a day while I have a stomach cramp pain? And you said it'll be fine? And then by the time I was thinking that, he'd already took off for the day. Like that was what I grew up with. And that's why we're here, because that resulted in 3 years of searching for answers. And we know that you don't have 3 years to find anything. You don't, well, you could, but why would you, right? Forget 3 years. You figure it out in 3 hours. And that's what these calls are all about. So let's dig into the regimen part so they know exactly what to do. Now, this is based on Helen's. Again, let me reemphasize that. Anything you want to try it in moderation. And it's only a recommendation. Okay, remember that we're not doctors, we're not sports nutritionists. We're avid athletes that love to test things on our body, and we're sharing with you the results that we've had, right? So for Helen, to increase her rapid recovery results, because she was only sleeping an average of 6 hours a night, the first thing that I got her to do before bed is I got her to take half a glass of water to make sure that her muscles were staying hydrated throughout the preferred 8 hours that I wanted her to sleep, but condensed to 6. It's really important to have hydration in your body before bed, and not everybody does that. And not everybody has to, but when we're talking about transforming the body, there has to be a consistency in hydration. Has to be. Anytime that the body is dehydrated, that's when the body stops transforming or slows down because it's working so much harder to try to get the job done. We don't want the body to work harder. We want the body to work efficiently. So we got to feed it what it needs. Okay, half a glass of water is usually like 4 ounces, like not a lot, 4 or 5 ounces, right? So number 1, 4 to 5 ounces of water. Number 2, I also asked her to start taking zinc and magnesium supplements, which again, you can usually find from food. Food sources carry zinc and magnesium, but food itself usually has too low the content of zinc and magnesium required for effective sleep. Not to mention that eating before bed will usually bloat. It'll usually create food rot. So if somebody eats right before bed consistently, the stomach can sometimes start to experience problems because the food's just sitting there. It's not being digested. So we don't want to eat food before we sleep. We want the supplement, the nutrition itself. So we take zinc and magnesium, usually something low around like 25 milligrams each, just to start, right? And then if her muscles are very sore, now this one you play with, okay? So if this is just about sleep recovery, you're good on those two alone. Try that for 30 days. You may be really surprised and impressed on how good you feel every morning. But if you're going to bed sore from a workout you just did, or the day before that, allow yourself to include just 10, that's 5, sorry, 10, just 10 grams of a lean protein powder source. 10 grams of just a lean protein powder source. Now, what do I mean by lean? Lean as in protein powder itself, for those of you that are using it, are well aware that sometimes you can buy a container and it says in the back that every scoop has 2 grams of sugar or 0 grams of sugar and 12 grams of carbs or 5 grams of carbs. And then you have some other protein sources that say something much higher, like 20 grams of sugar and 50 grams of carbs. You want to read the back of the container. And what we found is that anything that has 2 grams of sugar per serving or less, and 12 grams of carbs or less is perfectly fine for most people before they go to bed. Okay, it's perfectly fine to consume before they go to bed. And the reason is because our bodies have a bare minimum requirement of sugars and carbs required in order for us to walk, to talk, to think, to go down the street, to drive. Like as we're hosting this call, and I can see some of you guys are working and listening at the same time, some of you are going on your exercise routines and on this call, or some of you guys are just walking. That is burning off sugars and carbs already. So when you're taking half of 2 grams of sugar and half of 12 grams of carbs before bed, that's probably just enough for your body to keep fueling itself, to run your brain, to have your heart pumping, to allow yourself to roll left and right while you're sleeping at night. It's really not a big deal. Again, that is a generalization. If you listening to this call right now, live or recorded, or someone who has a hypersensitivity to those things, then that's different. You definitely want to consult your physician before taking this kind of advice. Right? This is just advice for whatever it is. But for those of us that don't have a hypersensitivity, and you know you're hypersensitive because, like, I know this. I had this one client. She couldn't even have an apple because if she had an apple during the day, she would instantly bloat an hour after. Like her stomach would come out almost as if she was a couple of months pregnant. And it was frustrating for her. Like she couldn't figure out why she was having such a sensitivity to an apple. Come on, it's not even like a candy apple, it's an apple, right? If you're that kind of person, scratch this advice. Go talk to your doctor first. But if you're a regular person that can take a protein shake, you can have a piece of candy if that's what you do, or eat your meals and you still feel normal after, then this should be okay for you to try. So let me recap that real quick. We're talking about before going to bed, you need zinc, you need magnesium, you need half a glass of your regular size water, usually around 4 or 5 ounces. And on the days that you feel sore, even a little sore, add 10 grams of protein, usually an isolate or a hydrolysate, before you go to bed. The goal of taking those in combination is that the next morning, when you wake up, whether it's 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours of sleep, or some of you that actually can sleep longer, when you wake up in the morning, I would be shocked if you did not wake up feeling like $1 million. feeling like you are ready to tackle the day. Ready to tackle the day and the workout and the groceries and the cooking, cleaning, and whatever else that you got to do. If you don't feel like Superwoman after a week of doing that, call me because I want to know. I would be very, very surprised if someone did not feel magnificent after just a week of trying that simple, natural, healthy formulation before you go to bed.
Yes, it helped me because remember there was a time that I have to get up at 5 and my session was at 6.
Right, 6 a.m. workouts, right,
Yeah.
right. And we could tell, folks, we could tell on the days that she did take her supplements and the days she didn't. Because on the days she did, oh man, well, we would crank out a good hour. It would be like 2 hours worth of training condensed into an hour. It was like drop set after drop set. And then I would sometimes make her, to stimulate the muscles, I would not give her a break. She would take a 30-second break between sets and then we were right back at it. Usually I would give her 2 to 3 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes, depending how grueling that session was. But when she was fully energized, she didn't need it. Literally 30 seconds and then we're right back in the game. And people would stare at her like, how are you doing so much? Like there were people that signed up at the gym before her and within 6 months, she was outperforming some of those people and they would just literally stop to watch in awe as she would not only do so many reps and sets, but they'd watch her sometimes outlift some of the guys. Like she was pushing more weight than some of the guys were. The leg press.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, with Scott, yes.
You were pushing me. There was one time she had 2 45-pound plates on each side, plus me. I would jump on the machine, and I was 205 pounds at that time. I'm 198 now, but still, roughly give or take 200, right? So we're roughly talking about 300 pounds that she's leg pressing, not just one set, but usually it's 2 or 3 plus the drop set. So I would jump off, she'd still have 100 pounds on there, and then she'd do another full set. Then I'd take off one, she'd have another set, and then we'd repeat the process. There were guys in there that were just watching her going, you're just a little over 100 pounds. How are you managing to move 300 pounds, yet your frame is like my cell phone? Every time you turn sideways, it's like, oh, where'd you go? Oh, there she is. Oh, she turned sideways. Where'd you go? Like she's so thin, but she can move so much. And that's because of the fact, I mean, there's so many different factors, but one of the biggest factors is when she woke up in the morning, if she felt like Superwoman, then that means that the supplements did their job and she came into the gym and she demolished her workouts. Demolished. I can honestly and respectfully say that she was probably one of the hardest working females that I've had a chance to personally train with, which is also one of the reasons why she's able to accomplish so much in a short period of time. It's not just because she works out so hard, but it's because she's learned to prime her body in a way where what seemed to be impossible now becomes simple. And because it's simple, she keeps pushing for that next level of impossible, which again, just keeps becoming more simple. Right?
Well, I have to give you a lot of credit. You gave me so much patience, when I started.
It's thank you. And ladies, when you go and work with somebody, if you choose, like, I want to say this because I know that we've got such an array of people here. Sometimes you'll want to do this by yourself. Sometimes you might want to get a trainer. One of the first things that you want to look for when you're looking for help is to find somebody obviously who's knowledgeable. That's a given. But also someone who has the patience to look at you, look at your body, look at how you perform, and then figure out, okay, if this is not working well for you, let's figure out what will. And if that doesn't work well for you, let's try this. See, that's important because sometimes people, generally speaking, and I got respect for everybody that's going through this stuff. Sometimes people don't have enough patience. But if you're hiring somebody to train you, whether online or face-to-face, we believe that person, man or woman, should have enough patience to figure you out so you can get the best out of your own body. And they should have the experience, or at least the wise the wiseness. You should be wise enough to know, okay, well, this isn't working for you. Let's try something different. And I know that sounds so obvious, right? It's so obvious, but you may be surprised how many people don't do that. And maybe it's not their fault. Maybe they weren't trained that way. But that's also why you want to know that for yourself, because when you ask for help, one of the first things you got to know about that person is, are you flexible enough to help me in ways that I need it versus what you just think will work, right? Like the old school cookie cutter version, you know what I mean? That's one of the reasons why group classes are great. Like, let's say you walk into a room and you're doing a fitness class. Like, you know, we all do great like group classes together. But notice how in a group class, a lot of times we don't get to that perfect precision of what our body needs. It's because it's one person trying to do something that works for everybody, but it doesn't work. It can only get us to a certain degree. In order to get results where every part of your body is looking phenomenal the way you want it to, you've got to have somebody in front of you that can help analyze, okay, this is what your body needs in that section. This is what it needs for this section. And to give you the adjustment so it's something that's very unique, very fine tailored to what you need to do. And that's why we talked about this call today, because the supplements that Helen uses is what works best for her. And it may work best for you. We hope it does. But at least if it does or doesn't, it gives you a starting point of how you can make it more refined to work for you versus what the general information is out there, which is sleep, you know, sleep 8 hours a night and you should be fine. Right? We want you to get the most results. So that's why we had to share today's topic about utilizing recovery supplements for sleep. Helen, come on out and share with them. Isn't there something else that you wanted to tell them too?
You know, as women, as ladies, sometimes we just like a recipe, a perfect dish, right? We here just wanted to make sure your path is less trouble, you know, making less mistakes, having our tips so you get there faster.
Right, absolutely. And that's why we're going to include that in today's homework to make sure that you have an ability to help you not only just sleep. Like, we know everybody's got an ability to sleep. That's good. Mm-hmm. But what we want to know is, are you able to do things, or are you doing things now, or can you do something to help you improve your quality of sleep? And that it really, like, these 7 days is really about just incremental improvement, right? Doing one small little thing that makes it better for tomorrow. One small thing that makes that improvement and change. And the accumulation of all those micro improvements is what creates massive results in a much shorter period of time. So, should we just tell them today's homework then?
Yes.
Okay. We'll share with you today's homework, and then we got to tell you who won from yesterday's challenge call.
It was difficult again.
It was difficult. It's getting more difficult. It never stops getting difficult because the effort everybody's putting out is just always second to none. It's always fantastic. So let me dig into this then real quick, okay? Today's homework is all about your recovery. We want to know, number one, are you getting enough sleep for yourself? Or do you believe that you do? And the way that you know that is by sharing with us, like, how do you generally wake up? Like, when you wake up in the morning, how do you generally feel? Do you feel good? Do you feel tired? Like, what's going on, right? And number two, if you feel like you are getting good rest, so you wake up in the morning, well, you wake up energized, share with us, what are you doing to help your body recover quickly? Because obviously you are. If you're waking up in the morning and you're like, yeah, I'm ready to tackle the day, that is valuable advice in a world where everybody's stressed out, everybody's tired, everybody's looking for answers, but they're using usually like a lot of coffee or a lot of cigarettes or whatever it is that people use. I don't know, right? But we don't want to just take that route. We want to find out what everybody here in the nutritionally healthy side is doing. So we're going to ask you to share that. If you're not getting the quality sleep, which again, you would know if when you wake up and you're tired and exhausted, based on what you're learning here, we would like to ask, what do you believe you're willing to try for yourself to improve your quality of sleep? So this is a two-part answer, right? If you're getting great sleep, tell us. If you're not, tell us. And then tell us what you want to do, what you plan to do about it. Whether it's just to get more hours or to try the supplement regimen that Helen's and I suggested, or if it's just something else that you have in mind. We don't care what it is right now. We just want to know that you're taking an active step towards making your sleep recovery better for yourself. So as the days, weeks, and months go by, we know that you've taken that first step to improve the way that you feel first thing in the morning, because we believe if you're good in the morning, your day is going to be great. But if your morning's not so wonderful, sometimes the day is great, but it's a bit of a tackle to get it there, right? We don't want anything to be a tackle. The biggest tackle you should have is you tackling your workout. Everything else should be, give or take, generally speaking. Everything else should be easier. And your workout should be, in our opinion, the biggest tackle that you have to handle for the day. Okay? So, homework for the day, make a video. Tell us your sleep. On either if you wake up well or if you don't wake up well, and what you do for both. And then we'll check that out by 10 p.m. tonight, as always. As always.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Like again, ladies, the gym is only 30%. The rest of what you do is 70%. We eat, we cover, and preparation. And that's what we wanted to share. So much more besides just a few workouts. Like Ellen said, you can go to YouTube and find so many workouts from some amazing women as well. But we're behind the scene giving you the additional, what you call it, the magic into making the results, right? Right.
I like some of the comments that are on here. I think Tina said, I just need a nice cold and dark room, take 10 deep and slow breaths, and pow, sleep. I like that. I wish I could do that. Oh man, that would be wonderful. I've tried everything from counting sheep, which didn't work for me, to cold deep. Yeah, that definitely helps. And you know what, folks? If you can do something like that, fantastic. Share it. Definitely share it. The more that we have advice from all of you here, the more that we have options to choose from. So that's awesome. Thank you, Tina, for sharing that. Really appreciate it.
There's one tip I wanted to share lately.
Yeah.
The soft music, the relaxation music with the soft rain. When I turn it on, it's so calming.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Google that video out. In this 3 hours, you can put that on. It's so relaxing. I just discovered that.
That's fantastic. Actually, that's a good point. Ladies, if any of you have something that you do use and you've got, let's say, music, or you've got a certain a light, like some people have like a sleep light. If you got something that you use, feel free to share it in the group. Remember that part of these calls is for us to share what we've done to help you get your body. But we also know that there's ladies in here that are doing things to either help their muscles recover better or get more clarity in mind because it's such a cluttery day, or things to lower their stress. Like whatever you got that works for you, we want to know. This isn't just Helen and Alan's group. This is our group.
Yes.
And this is a group where we come together to really pour it on each other to help each other improve. I mean, we are so happy and blessed to have this group of mostly women, some men, where we're actually collaborating with each other. I mean, it's awesome to know that when we need a resource of a how-to, we don't have to go any further than just what the people that are already in here. So if you got a great idea, please share it. We want to know what's working well for you. Okay?
I've been learning a lot watching all your ladies' videos.
Yeah. A lot of you got great advice, and we want to know more. So please, as the days go by, even after the challenge is over, feel free to keep sharing, because it inspires so many. Even the ones that you don't know are watching you. I guarantee you somebody in this group is watching and listening to your advice. And we're so thankful that you're sharing like that.
I never feel, Wong, that never feel that your advice is not good enough, because your advice must be working. So I appreciate you giving out the, in your video. And
Right.
again, we only have a limited knowledge as well, right? So
Right.
by you all sharing, we can have so much bigger mountain of knowledge.
Right, right. The more the better. And it's not even just regular knowledge. Thankfully, it's knowledge that's working for you. So it's actual life experience. That's the real juice, right? It's one thing to read a book. But when you meet somebody that's read the book, done the work, and you can see the improvements in them and they can share with you their experience, oh my goodness, that is gold. That is gold. And all of you have some gold to share. So feel free to like pull it out of yourself, share it here in the group. We want to know, okay? Helen, I think they're ready to hear who the winner was from yesterday's tough choice, but amazing choices challenge.
Yes, I have to stay up late just to keep watching the videos. It was tough. It was tough. But again, we have to choose one for all your whole work. And everyone's videos were amazing, I have to admit. And,
yes,
and you ladies are getting more comfortable and feel so much easier. I mean, you feel so much free to express yourself, which I
Everyone's
love.
looking more comfortable. Yeah, that's great. That's so awesome.
Yes, the winner for yesterday's homework, again, you know, it was hard, and is Melissa.
Melissa, all right. Melissa, virtual high five. Good job to you. Pop, pop, pop. Well done on your video. And everybody else that participated, thank you so much for putting in your videos and your content. It's so good to see what everybody's doing and how they're transforming. The shares are amazing. So please keep sharing because the cards are nice, the 30-minute calls are nice, but seeing you perform, change, transform, evolve in your skill sets and abilities, that's what we live for. That's the real gift. So please keep sending them in, okay? All of you are winners. And we're so glad that we get to be a part of your winning experiences every time in these calls.
I look forward to seeing some of you ladies who haven't had a chance yet, but just do it. And then, you know, you feel comfortable and you'll be surprised your little advice will impact so many people in this group.
Absolutely. Yeah, keep them coming, ladies, especially for as the days come by. Like we're going to, just to recap, we're going to have our call tomorrow and then we're going to have no call on Sunday. And we try to take those off. So happy Father's Day to all of you that are going to celebrate with your dad. And then we're back for our final call this coming Monday at 11 a.m. So please make sure you mark that in your calendars so you don't miss any of these exciting events, especially when you're taking part and trying to win those gift cards. We want to make sure that you're here so we can congratulate you live on camera. Any closing comments before we go, Ms. Fong?
No, but thank you again, ladies, for showing up. And thank you, those of who at home and watch the replay. And if you have any questions, send us a note. And also, tomorrow's topic will be very exciting.
As always, for sure, for sure. So
it's a Saturday.
Yeah. So get some sleep tonight, folks. Make sure you rest up really well. Try out some of those recommendations and let us know how it works for you, okay? Looking forward to seeing all of your next upcoming challenge videos and posts. Besides that, thank you again for being here. We always appreciate your time and your attention. It means a lot to us to see that we're all growing together here on these calls. Have yourself a great morning, afternoon, or night whenever you're watching. Everybody else, you take care, okay? We'll talk to you all soon. Thank you so much.
Ladies.
See you later. Helen, thank you so much as always.
Thank you, Ellen.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.